Page 6, Écossaise. This one is by Hummel. There's a whole bunch of Écossaises out there. It's a type of dance. You run across them. They're kind of fun. Hummel is it's an interesting person. You might look him up sometime. He's a good friend of Beethoven, a bit of a rebel, but he wrote some interesting things. Let's talk about this. I'm going to start with the right hand. Right there at the top of page 6 in the first line, basically you're in this position, okay? This is a chord, the second inversion of a C chord, which is G on top. Then you're starting out basically in this. Then you get to the third measure. Look out. It's a 2-4, 1-3, 2-4-5. It's kind of fun to play, actually. Second line similar, third line similar, fourth line similar. Page 7. You're moving up. You got a quarter rest to get there, but you're going all the way up here. 2 staccatos in the second measure. And then the last measure, that first line on page 7, it's a staccato on the C. It's a just down, up. And remember the 8th rest? Got to be quiet. Shouldn't be a problem because it's a staccato note right before it. Then on the second line, you get the same style. It's a quarter note tied or slurred to, connected to a G, staccato G. And the next one. Now in the third measure, and this is where people disagree, okay? Some people will say, play the little note right before the beat very quickly. Some people will say you play the note on the beat. Some people will say you play them about the same time. It's an interpretive thing. Hummel was a big believer in playing things. He more or less challenged the rules to play things before the beat and all that junk. I was taught the traditional method to play these things on the beat. And so that's how I do it. I do it on the beat, the little note on the beat, very quickly. It's with the left hand. I leave it up to you in interpreting how you're going to play that little note. It's just a very quick little note right before the main note. Okay, for the left hand, let's go back to page 6 at the top. You're starting out with staccatos. Now that little upwards arrow, that is kind of like a marcato thing. It's a heavier, it's more than just an accent, it's a heavy accent basically. So work out the articulation in the left hand because it's important. It complements the overall piece to get the articulation exactly the way it's written. At the top of page 7 for the left hand, you have a 5-3. Now you have a half note. You got to hold that down for the whole measure on that C. Next, same thing on the next measure. And the third measure, they're quarter notes. So you're going to hold it down while you play the G. Then at the end of page 7, it's the first line, last measure on page 7. They're showing a 5-3. I think you could do a 2-4 just as easily. I see nothing wrong with it because you're coming off of a B, B. To me, it makes more sense to use a 4 on that C in the last measure of the first line. Now, in the last 8th note for the left hand, notice the little 8th rest under it. That's where that dotted quarter note, that C, that comes up. So that 8th note, that G in the left hand is by itself. Nothing in either hand is sounding out at that point. It's by itself. For half a beat. Second line is similar to that. You got these half notes. Second measure, I recommend a 4-2. Put a 4 on the C because you have a B on the first measure and you can do a C here. And then the last the next measure, hold the G down, and I recommend 3-2 on the last note of the second line. You get more of that in the next two lines too, more of the same stuff. As far as the roadmap on this, there's a DCL Fine at the bottom of page 7. That means go back to the beginning and go to Fine. So the Fine is located at the bottom of page 6. So what it means is we're going to play page 6, then page 7, and then go back and play page 6 again. Dynamics, you do the dynamics. It's louds and softs, and have some fun with it. The only tricky part on dynamics that I see would be over on page 7. It's the second or the fourth line, doesn't matter, they're the same. Then the first two measures, you're starting out soft anyway, and you have the little diminuendo, the little hairpin, so the next note's even softer than that. So you have to come down. The left hand can help because you can get softer in the left hand as you do this. Get softer as you go through it. In the second measure, come back up to where you were, go back up to the soft, and then get soft. Happens again in the fourth line. People will misinterpret this on these two measures. Like it starts on measure 21. The little numbers in the boxes are measure numbers, right? At the beginning of each line. So on measure 21, they will see the P, the piano, and then they'll get softer, the diminuendo. And the next measure, they'll see another diminuendo when they think, well, I'm already very soft, I gotta get softer than that. And no, you don't. Come back up to piano. Come back up where you were and do it again. So both measures dynamically are going to be the same. And do that. Fourth line's the same way. So with all that said, let's give this a try. It's in 2/4 time. I don't know if 2 beats is enough, so I'm going to give us 4 counts and then we'll come in together. 1 and 2 and ready and go and... Rest. 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 Rest.